Imagine the Oracle Arena's roar distilled into a single heartbeat. Now imagine it silenced by the weight of what's about to drop. Because Dub Nation, the landscape of Warriors basketball, is shifting yet again, blood pumping in anticipation. As the 2025 NBA Draft fades into the rearview, but mark my words, this chapter is nowhere near its end. Welcome back to Warriors News Fan Report, where raw truths collide with splash-era passion. Smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so your heart never misses a beat. Because today, we're unpacking a flurry of moves that paint a tantalizing yet volatile picture of Golden State's future. A saga pulsing with intrigue and promise that extends far beyond just the high-profile draft picks like Alex Tui or Will Richard. The frontline chatter buzzing through the bay suggests the front office isn't resting on laurels or draft boards. Oh no, the Warriors are doubling down with 6 razor-sharp undrafted free agent signings that could very well tip the scales for the upcoming season, bringing new flavors and raw grit to a roster hungry for evolution. Hungry for an encore after a roller coaster of playoff heartbreaks and the fading shadows of the dynasty era. It all kicks off with LJ Crier, the electric Houston point guard, a proven national champion at Baylor, whose collegiate journey has been a masterclass in leadership and clutch shooting, whose 42% clip from 3 and relentless defensive tenacity have made him a bright spot in an otherwise uncertain undrafted landscape player the Warriors previously courted in pre-draft workouts, now brought back on an Exhibit 10 deal, the same kind that stitched the beginnings of glory tallies for Yuri Collins and Braxton Key. What makes LJ truly electrifying is not just his shooting or defense, but the intangible mojo of a leader who took home the baton time and again in Kelvin Sampson's Houston program. A shot creator who carried the offensive load when the Cougars needed it most, regularly firing from deep with confidence and precision. And I'm telling you, Dub Nation, this guy can anchor himself as the keystone of Golden State's Summer League roster. Could his polished collegiate craft translate into a burst of energy the Warriors desperately need on both ends of the floor? And that's just the opening. Salvo, enter Chance McMillion, the Texas Tech sharpshooter whose rise from Big 12 stand out to Exhibit 10. Signy has caught more than a few eyes. A 6'3" guard who baptized the arc, launching 57% of his shots from three-point range and draining them at an uncanny 43% clip while exhibiting efficient two-point play. This is no one-trick pony, but a silent assassin whose movement shooting and pull-up game spell potential antidotes to Golden State's pressing need for floor spacing. Remember, the Warriors' perimeter shooting must escalate if they hope to carve through loaded defenses, abusing every inch of paint and mid-range space. But oh, the twists come thick and fast because these two aren't just Summer League hopefuls. There's speculation these undrafted Warriors, Crier and McMillion, might carve out roles beyond Santa Cruz, maybe even sneak in the coveted two-way contracts if they prove their mettle, and in a front office that's been famously savvy in scouting under-the-radar gems. Could these dark horses quietly morph into essential cogs in the machine that tries to rival the spirit of We Believe, the unrelenting ethos draped around the Curry-Thompson-Green triumvirate? Swinging the spotlight, we find Coleman Hawkins, the scrappy heart and soul type with big NIL money from Kansas State, fueling an unlikely narrative. Hawkins' journey from Illinois to Kansas State with a $2 million NIL contract speaks volumes about the changing basketball economy and his marketplace allure. Yet basketball purists might question how much he brings beyond grit, solid on pick and pop, respectable outside shooting, and tireless effort on defense and rebounding give him a fighting chance in Summer League's crucible. Whether this heart player can elevate off the bench or become the glue guy that a championship run demands, well, only time and the unforgiving Vegas Heat will tell. Then there's the fresh-faced rawness the Warriors are harnessing with their Summer League roster that extends beyond these homegrown stories, a melding of intriguing guards and forwards with promises, written in stats and whispered trade rumors alike. Alex Tui, the 6 feet 7 inches Swiss pick dubbed by some as a jack of all trades. arrives with the whisper of a switchable defender and a selfless playmaker silhouette his size and NBL experience, averaging about 11 points a game, project well. Into the Warriors' motion offense that reveres spacing and quick decision-making. Although initial reactions to his selection were lukewarm, a deeper dive reveals a player tailor-made for the splash-off sphere, one who might just surprise and become a defensive cornerstone capable of guarding multiple positions on the perimeter and fitting seamlessly into Steve Kerr's fluid schemes. Add to this Will Richard, a player embodying the modern two-way guard archetype, whose 36% three-point shooting in a defense-heavy collegiate environment speaks louder than critics suggest. His wingspan of 6'9" enables disruptive defense, coupled with versatile scoring ability, a potential breakout candidate to storm the Summer League and force his way into the rotation. Meanwhile, Bees Odom, the Ivy League's Player of the Year from Yale, lands a coveted Summer League invite, bringing a cerebral ball-handling game, unshakable decision-making, and rebounding prowess despite his undersized frame factors that could become the X factor in battle-tested lineups when grit meets high IQ. The international flavor adds a dash of mystery and global intrigue. Alex Higgins-Tisha, a 6 feet 8 inches forward from Australia's NBL, with solid numbers and connections to Taran Armstrong, a G League standout, and two-way contract holder who somehow missed Golden State's main roster last season, but returns eager to prove the glimpses of his potential were no mirage. Leopold Dellin, the French League sharpshooter and all-around contributor, rounds out a roster brimming with untapped potential and calculated risks that the Warriors are betting on for their summer escapades in the California Classic in Vegas, where matchups against the Lakers, Spurs, and Heat will test these hopefuls' mettle and provide a platform where any one of them might explode onto the scene or falter under pressure. And speaking of the California Classic, the return of this Summer League extravaganza promises a showcase rife with veteran dashes from past drafts like Alex Tui and Will Richard, each aiming to stake a claim on Golden State's evolving narrative. Narrative tinged with nostalgia for the we believe scrappiness and steely playoff runs, yet hungry for the dynamism that can recapture the Warriors' transcendent success. Can these players, signing under Exhibit 10 deals or quietly grinding through lesser-known international circuits, become the silent architects of a new wave of Warriors dominance? Could the front office's faith in quad-pronged youth, unheralded, sharpshooters, and versatile defenders pay off in a summer league showing that eclipses even the bold moves made during the KD era? Or might this gambit be the crack that fractures a dynasty still leathery with playoff scars, a misstep amid the mountains of data, analytics, and whispered trade negotiations swirling behind closed doors? Fellow Dub Nation believers, as a lifelong fan whose pulse quickens simply writing this, I find myself trembling with excitement and cautious hope. There are no certainties here, only the electric thrill of possibility, so I leave you with this. Which of these 6 Warriors will carry the torch forward, igniting a new era? And who will fade quietly into the shadows awaiting a second chance? Drop your unfiltered takes in the comments. I'll be right there, heart in hand, waiting to unravel this unfolding drama with you. If your heart just jumped seeing the Warriors dive so deep into this undrafted free agent pool, and the Summer League becomes this cryptic battleground of destiny, then buckle up, because we're about to peel back every layer of this evolving madness. And it's anything but simple or safe for Dub Nation right now. Look, I get it on paper. 6 under-the-radar signings like Crier, McMillion, Hawkins, Tui, Richard, Odom, plus the international hopefuls Higgins-Tisha and Dellin might read as a desperate scramble or a hedge against another patchwork season. Yet, what if it's actually the blueprint for something stealthy? An undercurrent rebirth hidden right in plain sight beneath the looming shadows of a dynasty that's showing its age? Steph Curry's jaw-dropping 29 points per game and lethal, 43% from deep last season, remind us he's still that transcendent force. But even the chef can't conjure championships single-handedly anymore. Draymond Green's triple-double average in assists and his unmatched defensive IQ remain pillars, But age and wear have undeniably chipped some of that relentless hustle that fueled 5 straight finals. And then there's Klay Thompson, whose warrior spirit is alive and kicking, yet whose minutes restriction and shot attempts tell part of the story of injury-laden seasons past. This context claws at the heart of what these new signings mean. Are we witnessing the genesis of the next iteration of the Warriors? Famed motion offense, the one that demands not just shooting, but non-stop cutting, switchability, and that gravitational pull to the basket? Or, worse, is it the symptom of a dynasty grappling with its mortality, frantically trying to patch holes with unknowns while the West snarls like a beast poised to pounce? Consider the Western Conference Circus Suns and Nuggets playing juggernauts. The Lakers still riding the LeBron James matrix with additions that could either decloak as catalysts or liabilities. The Mavericks and young OKC Thunder flexing upward. Trajectories that could turn this into a gauntlet instead of a stage. What if these new guys, the fit and the misfits, fracture the chemistry of the laid-back, experienced core, that delicate ecosystem Steve Kerr has painstakingly cultivated over nearly a decade? Face it, Kerr's brilliance has always stemmed from balancing star power and role players, from nurturing the seamless ball movement to enforcing accountability without seeming authoritarian. But can that blueprint absorb risk-6 unproven talents? A few coming from dystopian international stats and gritty, grinded-out college stories without the fragile rhythm breaking down? Imagine 6 feet 7 inches Alex Tui with his Swiss precision and defense versatility, suddenly locking up key perimeter threats or snagging crucial rebounds that shift momentum. Or Will Richard, a two-way disruptor with those freakish 6'9" wingspan finishes, suddenly elevating the bench from liability to lethal. These are the stories Kerr's coaching ingenuity might write, or the experiments that implode under playoff heat. And then, the emotional pressure simmering just beneath the surface to fans. That beating, breathing Dub Nation aren't always the quiet, patient believers people think. There's fatigue here, raw and real fatigue born from watching. The canyon between hopes and heartbreak over the last couple of years, from the specter of injuries and losses when the Warriors once defined resilience like no other. The locker room whispers, we're hearing murmurs of tension, the delicate navigation with veterans still clawing for one last ring. Integrating these hungry newcomers who aren't just fighting for a spot, but for their entire future. What if this patchwork fails to coalesce, creating fractures in the identity of this team's culture? Or sharpen your ears, what if this is exactly what sparks the next monumental shift? The Warriors reinvented the game with the Splash Trio. What if this sea of unknowns, anchored by strategic high IQ veterans, is Kerr's secret weapon in evolving into a prototype for a new championship Model 1 that could snatch back the West title with an unexpected squad of dark horses and shooters? Think about the echoes of We Believe, that underdog frenzy, battling giants with tenacity and no big names, creating a dynasty of spirit and heart that became legendary. Could these undrafted free agent signees channel that same fire? Could Crier's Baylor-born leadership, McMillion's sniper three-point venom, or Hawkins' grind-it-out mentality mark the start of a renaissance rather than a fallback? Or is this just another season of clutching at straws, hoping to dodge another early playoff flameout in a Western Conference that's perched on volatility? Even off-season whispers hint at potential mid-season trades. Maybe bold, maybe cautious, tinkering with veterans like Draymond or enticing pieces like Kuminga and Moody, whose electric athleticism offers tantalizing upside, but still demands consistency. We're on the cusp of something messy, yet thrilling. Imagine a summer league battlefield where every shot, every defensive play by these hopefuls could redefine their futures and maybe the franchise's trajectory. Picture that young, cerebral Bees Odom from Yale dropping triple-doubles and making smart plays that stun the old guard. Picture the crowd roaring, not because they know all the names, but because the energy in the hall rises to fever pitch, sensing the birth of new Warriors lore. As someone who has bled blue and gold from the Baron Davis We Believe days, who teared up during Klay's 5-3 comeback from his ACL saga, who still believes in the nearly magical ability Steph possesses to deliver miracles out of thin air. I'm telling you with every fiber of my being, this isn't just a sequence of signings and stats. This might be the start of something seismic, a pivot point where the Warriors either reforge themselves into a new kind of dynasty or watch the torch flicker and fade for good. This is where history will judge Kerr's genius, Bob Myers' vision, and the grit of these unheralded Warriors. Now it's on you. What do you see unfolding under these golden hoops? Tell me exactly what you feel in the comments. No safe takes. No sugarcoating. I'm diving in there with you. Every passionate word, every wild prediction, every gut feeling. Because this story is ours and Dub Nation's heartbeat is the relentless drum that drives it forward.